What's up, world? Jeff here. Jeff Lerner in the house. Why is Instagram being dumb? Bear with me just a moment. Let's end this. We will end it. Dude, I don't even know what's going on. I start and Instagram decides to have a total fit. Delete video. Sorry. You'd think that things would just work. I will tell you, of all the social platforms, Instagram has by far the worst connection issues. Let's just try that again. I don't know. We'll just roll with it. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. Actually, I think we're going to bail on Instagram because it's just causing me this flickering nightmare on my phone. Look, this is what it's doing. Keeps saying pause due to poor connection, and then it flickers on and then flickers back off, and it's just a debacle. So we're going to exit that, and we're going to go without Instagram for the day. Man, worst intro ever to a live. I'm tempted to start over, but it's too late to try to do that. Anyway, 'tis the season for making moves. I believe that. Do you believe that? Are you doing it? Are you taking action on the basis that that is the case? I am. I was talking to my son this morning on the couch, and I was showing him. We just finished last month at my education company, Entra. We finished our record month. We broke a significant threshold, and I said, Jace, let's be honest, man. It's been 2 years. 2 years that I've been yapping online, just making these videos. And you got to appreciate, from my kids' point of view, so 2 years ago, their dad, 2 years ago, I was 39 years old. 2 years ago, their 39-year-old dad decides he's going to start going live and putting out all this social content and doing, what superficially, and this is frankly a stereotype that a lot of people carry around. They're like, oh, internet content is for kids. The social media is like this platform where young people really leverage it and kind of use it to its full capabilities. And us grown-ups, we use it to kind of stay in touch with our family and maybe do some light networking. But we don't really own it as a part of the fabric of our life. And 2 years ago, I would say I was late to the party, but 2 years ago I was like, you know what? I'm leaning in on this deal. I'm going all in on social. I recognize the power. I recognize what it can do for my business and my life. And I'm going all in. And I want to start this conversation. I want to start having the conversation that I want to have. Think about it. We go through life. How often do we find ourselves having the conversations that we don't want to have? We're stuck in having a conversation. We didn't pick it. We don't really know how we got there. But we don't want to be rude. We got to see it through. And so we just give this time, this energy to these conversations that are not what we want to be doing with our time and with our lives. And so 2 years ago, it was September 2018. Today's the first day of September. So it's literally been almost 2 years. 2 years ago, I said, I'm going to start having the conversation that I want to have. And that's all it was. It was just saying, hey, every day, in every way, as much as I can, I'm going to be going out to the world saying, hey, for better, for worse, this is the conversation that I want to have. If you want to have it with me, awesome. You're invited. Come one, come all. And if you don't want to have it with me, cool. There's lots of other items in your feed. There's lots of other people you can click on and listen to and interact with. And I just committed myself fully to having the conversation that I want to have. The conversation that was going to be the most growth promoting, that was going to be the most fulfilling and rewarding, and that was going to create the most momentum in my life, however it panned out, whether it ever grew into a business, whether it ever, I ever sold anything or was able to, I had a loose idea that, well, if I can get enough people interested in excellence and intensifying their lives and living with purpose and getting really focused on the narrow things that drive positive change and growth in life and excluding all the rest. If I can get people sort of ideologically aligned with me on this, then maybe there's an opportunity to to sell some of what I know, like create a course around the techniques, the online marketing business stuff that I know how to do, because it's such a great complement to this way of living. And I say that, I've said this so many times, I'm going to say it one more time just to kind of stamp it, and I won't dwell on it. But I think it's really important, if you're going to be a part of Jeff Lerner's world, to understand that this online business stuff that I talk about, it's not the point. It's the means. It's not the end. The point isn't to say, hey, let's make the whole world into digital marketers. The point is to say, hey, let's empower the whole world. I mean, our mission statement is empowering people to achieve physical, personal, and professional excellence through entrepreneurial education. Entrepreneurial education is what I offer up to the world, is like, hey, this is a vehicle, this is a tool that can help you pursue these 3 types of excellence in your life, and I want to empower you to do that. But that's the point. The point, as I believe it, is that an awesome life is a life that's defined by the pursuit of excellence. My personal mission statement, demonstrating daily that we were created to pursue excellence and act with courage. That's it. That's it. Digital entrepreneurship is a means to that end. So anyway, the point is, I started this conversation 2 years ago. So this is the only conversation that I really, really love happening on a wide scale basis. I mean, I love, like, there's individual conversations I love having with my wife and kids, but in terms of my conversation, my brand, my image, my persona in the marketplace, like, this is all I really want to talk about. It's just, how can we constantly be leveling up? The second entre value, right? We take daily disciplined action. The third entre value, we're always improving. Like, these are the things that I want to talk about. These are the things that I want to be about. And these are the things that I want to bring about in my life. So that's the conversation that I'm going to start having. And again, you think about my kids. They're like, what is our dad doing? He went from, like, sitting behind a desk, kind of quiet internet marketer. He was running an agency, and he wasn't really out there, to now he's just like out there. He's putting himself out there. He's like a kid. This is like what kids do. And I feel for them. I'm like, they must have been like, man, our dad's lost his mind. He's trying to be what's the word they always use? I can't remember the word they always use, but it's like a wannabe. Like, suddenly he wants to be like this influencer guy. And listen, it's hard. It's hard to act like an influencer when you got like 17 followers. Like, it's hard. You gotta have a serious look at yourself in the mirror and be like, am I offering value to the world? That is yet undiscovered value. Do I believe in what I'm doing? Do I have enough conviction? Do I have enough confidence? Do I have enough certainty? Do I have enough ability to tolerate the rest of the world's uncertainty and the judgment, that some of which is actually there and some of which I'm just projecting onto the world, because that's how we process our own insecurity. When we're feeling insecure, we start to believe that the world is being even more judgmental of us than it may actually be, because frankly, the world doesn't care about us nearly as much as we do. We do well to remember that sometimes. But so in that space, I'm sitting there and I'm fighting this fight, and I'm overcoming all this stuff. And ultimately what I'm doing is I'm making my move. And I said to Jace this morning, after, we were going over what we've accomplished in the last 2 years, in particular what we accomplished in the last months, is we broke all kinds of personal records for me. I've had a really good career, over a decade online. I got all my nifty plaques behind me. I've won awards. My business has been named to prestigious lists and whatnot, but I have never experienced the success that I'm experiencing right now, in a world that, frankly, that makes me pretty unique. The world is kind of jacked right now, and that's part of why I love the internet. The internet thrives. When the physical world recesses, the internet progresses. But anyway, so we're going over it all, and I'm like, did you really think 2 years ago, be honest, when I started doing all this craziness, going out to the world with my loud conversation about excellence and an awesome life, and, just leveling up, constant narrowing of focus, the Pareto principle, focusing not just on the 20%, but on the 20% of the 20%, the actual 4% that differentiates what we get out of this life from what everybody else. And you say yes to the 4%, you have to start saying no to the 96%, which means sometimes saying no to a lot of people who are part of the 96% in your life. And they might be offended, and they might be judgy, and they might be, pissed off or think that you think you're better than, but it's not because you think you're better than. It's just because you want for better than. You want for a life that's better than the life that you have. And so that means you have to make different choices. And so the people that were part of your old choices are going to think that you suddenly think you're better than them. It's not that you think you're better than them. It's that you want a life that's better than the life that you had when maybe they were a non-contributing or a low-value part of it. And that can be a hard conversation to have. My advice is don't have it. Just do it. Just do what you got to do. Don't try to explain to everyone what you're doing. And I didn't. I was making moves. I was quiet. I was stealth. I may have been very loud publicly, but privately I was quiet. I was stealth. I didn't call up all my friends and family and say, hey, do I have your blessing to become an unrecognized influencer, to start acting like I am and acting like I have a voice and acting like I have value and putting all this content out to the world that maybe initially nobody's even listening to? And I'm going to look like a chump for a while. Do I have your permission? Is that okay? Would that be cool? Will you cheer for me? No, I didn't tell anyone what I was doing. I just did it because I was making moves. It was the season for making moves. Now it's the season for reaping the harvest and planting the next crop. Reap the harvest, plant the next crop. So my question, the purpose of this conversation is it your season for making moves? And by the way, if you're not reaping the harvest, that means you haven't made the moves to produce the harvest, which means it's time to be making moves. And I don't care. Turn off the news. Close out your feed. Learn to use social media as a tool, not a trough to feed at. I show this in a training I do. I'll show it again right here. So I have a little folder on my phone that says social/marketing. You probably can't see it, but what I'll share with you is in my little folder where I have all my social media apps, when I open that up, When I open that up, I have the Facebook Pages app, the YouTube Creator app, the Google Ads app, Agorapulse, which is a social media management app, the Facebook Ads app, the Microsoft Ads app, Google Analytics, an Instagram productivity app, and then my Snapchat. And the only person I chat with on my Snapchat is my wife. My point is, my folder of social media is populated with tools. These are not social media consumer apps. These are social media producer apps. For me to get to the consumer apps, I got to swipe. Now I got Instagram, I got, Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, Parler, and Reddit. And sure, I look at those sometimes, but I look at them to see how my posts are doing. The point is, when I go to my social folder on my phone, I go to producer apps. These are tools. This is a tool belt. This is my hammer and my drill and my saw and my nails and my level and my tape measure right there. I go to work with those tools. Change your relationship with the media, because the media is convinced that right now is a time for waiting. It's a time for being passive. I'm telling you, 'tis the season for making moves. Now is the time when those crazy ideas that you've had percolating in your mind for years and years and years, go do them now. If nothing else, you can blame it on the collective insanity that's gripped the world and say, someday, even if you fall flat on your face, you can say, yeah, man, 2020, I don't know, the world was just going nuts, and I just decided to go for it. I just decided to do that thing that I've always been thinking about doing because everybody seemed to be insane anyways, and there wasn't much else going on. What will happen is you'll build momentum, you'll build confidence, you'll build identity, you'll start to like how it feels to put yourself out there, to live on the edge, to be bold, to take risks. You'll start to like how it feels. And the reason you like how it feels is because progress is happiness. That's a Tony Robbins statement. I think it goes back before him. Tony Robbins is a great synthesizer of collective wisdom. He's not really a creator of it. He goes around and he curates it and he packages it and he delivers it to the world, which is exactly what the world needs. I love what he does. I'm not knocking it at all, but he said progress is happiness. Progress is happiness. And when you start doing the good work that you've dreamed about doing but you've put off for a long time, you start to become something different. You start to progress in your life, and you will like how it feels because progress is happiness. This is the season to make the moves. Take it from me. I've been making them for 2 years. Even though I'm already a guy who had changed his life with digital marketing, I am yet again in the last 2 years a guy who has changed his life with digital marketing. It's the new normal. I had the old normal, which was suck normal. Then I had the new normal, which was better normal when I started digital marketing in 2008, and I got this momentum and I made some money and I kind of turned some things in my life around. But in the last 2 years, I've created a new normal because I've been making big moves. I've been being bold. I've been putting myself out there. I apologize for nothing. I have haters. I have lovers. And I have indifferent people. But I have one guy who's loving every second of it, and that's me, because progress is happiness. And that's all making moves is about. Making moves is because if you're not moving, you're dying. Stagnation, atrophy, those are synonymous with death. You got to move to live. Start making moves so you can feel alive, so you can love who you're becoming. And I promise if you do it long enough, you do it proudly enough, you do it consistently enough, the world will take note and you will start breaking records in your own life, not just financial, personal, emotional, physiological, psychological, neurological, that you will develop new standards and a new being and a new becoming. It is addicting and you do not want to go back. Once you start making moves, the only time you want to stop is to reap the harvest and replant for the next season. If you take nothing from this conversation, remember, poverty, stagnation, unhappiness, depression, they are all in life terms about one thing, which is waiting. Waiting is misery. Waiting is death. Wait not one more second. 'Tis the season for making moves. Thanks, everyone. I'll catch you next time.